Hey everybody. So today we are going to do the 25-minute recap on one of our NW2 uh, sessions, and I'm going to share my screen so we can get through that class in just 25 minutes. If you want to see the longer version, somewhere, sometime, we will put a link in there for that. But today's class, we're going to talk about thriving through tough times and how you do that as a business and get through it with a prosperity mindset approach. And because I have just 25 minutes, we are going to kind of snap through it. Uh, NW2 is a 2-hour session. So there's lots more that happens with people talking and interacting, and you get to come to class. It's just $10, and it's on the first Wednesday of every month. I'm in Central Time, so it is at 9 a.m. on Central Time. Or you can continue watching these on YouTube. That's why we make them. So anyway, one of the things that I also do as a hobby is I take photographs, and one of the fun parts of this is sharing some of the photographs that I take. And today I'm going to do flowers because it's just perfect for thriving. And the first piece of advice that I'm giving everyone today is we are in a new year, so get a notebook. It's a notebook to think about your small business and to think about how you're going to thrive. That is your Thrive file. So you want to be able to really think about how you're going to thrive, what you're going to do, and we're going to really come in with that prosperity business idea set. And right, part of our environment in the prosperity business model, right, the 3 E's that we have: environment, we have is the number one environment that we have is our mind and our language and how we go back and think about things. Economy and efficiency are the other 2 E's in the 3 E's of the prosperity business model. For those of you who know me from the collegiate world, I'm the person who wrote the prosperity business model, so that's where that comes from. So one of the things that I'm going to invite everyone to do in their small business is to go back in and look at last year. Sometimes it's easy to just look at it in your phone or whatever, but I would go back and look at the 10 top wins. And that's the first thing I would put in that notebook. And the reason that I do that first is so that you start the next year with last year's prosperity. So that you have the top 10 wins from last year. And the top 10 wins can look like a lot, especially if you're self-employed, that you're looking for the things that really were meaningful to you. For many of you, you are self-employed and doing it yourself. It's helpful to just see what went well. What went well? So I would put those top 10 things in your notebook. The next thing I would put in is kind of the word for the year. And when we put in the word for the year, what I want you to think about is really something that's a guidepost. The word for the year, it shouldn't be a word that you're using in your everyday language. So search a little bit, reach a little bit. You want a word that has the ability to get you towards what it is that you're there to create. And that's why I chose this picture of me with a little bubble, right? When we think about a word that you want, it's going to just focus you back in on this is the direction that I'm moving, and this is how I'm going to direct my business. And this is for you personally to be able to just grow what you're doing. And I can tell that our camera is going a little bit crazy, so we're just going to leave it. But a word like moxie, right? So it has something that you can get to. So when you're questioning all of the decisions that you're making, that's what the word of the year is for. It's just there to sharpen the focus so that you can go directly in on, does this fit towards where I'm trying to reach for? So sometimes it is the word thrive. We're there to thrive. Is this an activity that helps us thrive? Is this something that gets me juiced? Is this something that showcases our work? So think about what your word is for the year, and then all of your decisions and all the things that you're getting will kind of get you through that. This also happens to be a picture that I took of myself. On the day that I made in 2023, like the worst day that I had. And I had to really use my word of the year to think about, like, how was I going to get through this epic failure of a day. And it was whatever, right? We all have them. We all have days that it didn't go well, but we need that little love bubble around us that we can stay focused, so that when things don't go well, that we can go, oh yeah, okay, well, let me just direct and focus towards, right, what I'm here to uh, showcase, or what am I, doing. And the first thing that you have to do in going through tough times in a business is understanding the challenge. The challenge that you have is really acknowledging what is truth there. This happens to be a picture from the Carolinas, and they have all this great invasive leaves that are growing all over everything. And one of the things about that beautiful performance is that they must have a tree underneath it that's alive. And so they have to build this relationship. And so one of the things that we have to think about is not just the things that may be feeling like they're overpowering us and covering us, but to really focus on that life force energy that's within us, the tree underneath, the tree of life, what's underneath the net. And for those of you who are focusing in on a business, and your challenge of why you're here today is that you're focusing that you have low revenue, that's the easiest thing to fix in a business. Revenue is easy. That if that's your only problem, you're going to be fine. You can fix revenue. From a business strategist with 25 years of fixing things, revenue is the fastest, easiest thing to repair. There are a lot of other things that can go poorly. So if you're just trying to manage better revenue, this is going to be a good year for you, because that's easy to fix. One of the things that, when you were looking at understanding the challenge, understand your challenges. And we're going to do that from a prosperity mindset. So you can always just take a screenshot, because this is a 20-minute review, and we're now down to this. You may want to snap a picture of the scenes that are important to you. One of the things that we talk about is acknowledging the reality of low revenue, and you have to look at it with loving eyes. You have to use your skills to not beat yourself up around it or be angry about it. I'm not saying sugarcoat all of the stuff. And yes, that dog barking you hear in the background is Nigel. I think the male is here. And we're babysitting another dog. So you're going to hear another one chime in. Our daughter's dog is here. So a little bonus for you for being here with me today. But the top 10 reasons, this is another one that I would take an image of, that I would just screenshot, because I just picked the ones that are from my experience, which is, these are the things that are the reality of the things that I had for myself in having this business for 25 years, that sometimes I've outgrown my base of people. Sometimes that my base has outgrown me. Sometimes it is someone else's truth that I'm trying to sell somebody else's strategic planning and not my own. Sometimes it's that my operations are inefficient, or that I'm overwhelmed, or that I live in the Midwest, so there's trauma, there's depression, there's parenting. When I see a single person that runs a really big machine, we really see a health crisis. A lot of times when I see a business in turmoil, I would say probably half the time that we see a health crisis has come in, and they hadn't accommodated for enough backup systems to manage their life with a health crisis. So I would take a look at this list and go, what are the reasons that your business is underperforming? And what are the reasons under the reasons? And in the longer version, we have that. We have a lot more explanation on that, because it's a 2-hour class, the long one. The loving dominion is the concept that we are bringing in for everyone, that again, if you've worked through other prosperity classes, loving dominion means that I have dominion over all of the areas of my life. So we're always coming to look at this as this is our sacred journey, and that we will lead through love. One of the things that I think people forget to talk about is that as that person who's overseeing your experience, and your business and the things that you're there. Not only are you the ruler, you are the person who makes the laws and the boundaries and all of those things, but we forget to remind people that you are the fire keeper. And it is your responsibility to keep the fire going. And that means gathering all of the things that are fuel. There's a lot to fire keeping, and we don't talk enough about that. So you are the fire keeper, and sometimes just that reminder helps us understand the real complexity about running a big brand in the marketplace. Is how do we keep our fire? Now, I'm going to glaze over this. These are the things that we give to you, that I give out to you in the community, are ways that you can kind of keep that fire going. This is the Pebble method that we have talked about. That's in the longer version. We also have groups of the 12-week year. You're in NW2. We have vision board classes. We have something called Cool Person Lunch. But your largest tool is YouTube. YouTube has a lot of efficiency models in it that have things that you can look up and learn. So in this class of all of us together, one of the things that I focus on is just getting you back into prosperity mindset. You cannot be in two energies at the same time. So you can't be in dismay and frustrated and angry and be in thriving in joy at the same time. So you have to really shift to go, look, I have to tear down this old way and I have to build a new way. And that new way has to have prosperity mindset in it. And you have to understand the benefits of that. Tearing something down to rebuild 100% of the time is the right answer. It's a good choice, because when something has been built and it has outgrown its usefulness, it must be disassembled and reassembled into something different. So don't be afraid that you have to tear down some parts of your business, because they will be reassembled into the new prosperity of what is today. Because your integrity and grace has grown from 5, 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago. So your products have to tear down and rebuild. So the other thing about understanding limiting beliefs and replacing them is, now that sounds so surface. It sounds so surface, but it's actually kind of more complex than that, because a lot of times we don't know our limiting beliefs. So I'm going to give you a little trick on that, because if you knew your limiting beliefs, you would just fix it. For most of the people that are watching this recording, on all of these recordings, the vast majority of you are already high achievers. So you are always looking to growth. You're always adopting and empowering yourself to be better. But in a business, your business may not have grown at the same rate that you have. And a lot of times I see people confounded when the old stuff doesn't match the new stuff. So we can talk about that a little bit in the longer version. But again, adopting that growth mentality. So take a picture of anything that's there. The prosperity question that you want to start with, like we started in the notebook, is what is working? And when you are a strategist and I am paid to fix problems, the first thing that we ask is not what's broken. The first thing that we ask in strategy is what is working. Because what is working actually gives us the foundation of what everything else can be built on. So what is working is the first set of questions we actually have to get. And there's a secret here. So in that of what is working is, you want this other little list of what's the buzzkill list. What are the things that instantly take you out of winning? So, look at what is working in your time, tactic, efficiency. How are things working in the business? And then what are the things that are killing that buzz, right? What is it that's not making it work? What's the thing that's really the barrier or the blockade? And when we talk about, again, identifying and replacing them with empowering ones, we sometimes don't know it until we get to this other concept. So I'm going to just tell you, the next thing is the magic mushroom question. So when we look at identifying limiting beliefs and replacing them with empowering ones, sometimes we don't know that it's there. So that's why we go to the magic mushroom question. And again, I'm going to keep going right, because the magic mushroom question is profoundly, um, it's kind of like a superpower. And it's not to say you should take magic mushrooms. It's to say that if you ask a question differently, everything in your mind will reevaluate, and every limiting belief will expose itself with just these next few questions. And the magic mushroom question is, what would this look like if it was easy? So whatever is the obstacle, I can go back and go, well, what would it look like if it were easy? And I've asked this question in a million different ways, right? What would dinner look like if it were easy? And when I had a staff of 24 or a staff of 40, and then I would try to come home and make dinner, it wasn't easy. That I had to re-ask the magic mushroom question. What is easy? Well, what is easy if I just stopped using a grocery budget and just picked up my husband and gave him a food budget and said, I'll take you to any restaurant. So I made a deal with him to say, look, if we can eat dinner for X dollars, um, I'll make you a deal. And the only way we could stay in that is to not have alcoholic beverages, that we had to drink water, but you could either split a meal with me in a nice restaurant, in a really nice restaurant, or we can each eat at a mediocre restaurant. But we would eat in a restaurant every night, that a beautiful woman, a beautiful redhead, is going to pick him up every day at around 6 o'clock in a beautiful car, because I had a red Jaguar at the time. I'll pick you up, a redhead in a red Jaguar, and I'll take you to any restaurant that you want uh, every day after work. And what ended up happening out of that magic mushroom question is that we got to actually, we were already empty nesters. So we could actually sit and have dinner every night in a restaurant, and we didn't have dishes, that there was lots of things to do. And we did that for a long time until we got to COVID. And then we made a new magic mushroom question. But when you think about a magic mushroom question, it was, what's the limiting belief? Well, the limiting belief around dinner was that I had to make it, or that he had to make it. And instead, why don't we just have the best chefs in the city? I live in a city. It's easy to eat out. I live in a major city with lots of other people. So when you think about those magic mushroom questions, and whatever it is that is the difficult parts, is I would start asking that. And when we start to ask that, again, we go to this next piece. And this is one I would screenshot, right? Utilizing existing resources. And when you're looking at that, we're going to assess the current ones. We're going to identify this untapped potential. And then we're going to make some strategies. But where I want you to think about is right here, is identifying the unused potential. And the unused potential is often a who question. So this is your fast, secret way of starting to ask, who can help you in that system? Who can come up with that answer? Who can get you there? And then you're going to kind of come up with some strategies. So in my quick timer, we're already down to 5 minutes in the rapid replay. I'm going to click through some of these pieces because I think that they're interesting. You can get an idea of what the class is, but you can come to the longer version, and that has a lot more information in it because it's 400% longer. So identifying your tools, you can take a snapshot of this, integrating new tools. There's so much happening in AI for you. But again, the amount of change that's coming in technologies that you're already utilizing is going to be crazy in the next year. So make sure that you pick the tools that are right for you and really work them through and learn all the new dimensions. Every single tool you have will maximize in the next 18 months because of AI, because their ability to write code has now been machined. And the amount of things that are being machined out means that simple things, answering FAQs, everyone's systems on an app are going through the roof. So everyone's ability to have an app, every business that you have will have an app because they're all trying to get exactly to this screen, which is direct to customers, right? DTC, direct to consumer. How do we get directly to consumers? And technology is allowing us to do that. So your sales channels are really focusing in on how we get directly to the consumer and we don't pay all these other people online, that we can go give content directly, exactly how you're getting content directly. But again, getting you to our websites, getting you to the other things, right? So look at your sales channel. What's doing them? What's interrupting them? If you were someone that had YouTube as your main income, you watched your income plummet by 80% in the last 2 years if you hadn't understood the new rules. So you need to really think about what are the innovative approaches of how you're dealing with things, how are you leveraging your media, and what is it that you're doing. When we look at that, if you are not using media, you have to. It's mandatory. It's mandatory that you have to showcase what you're doing if you're trying to grow a business. If you're just servicing the businesses, the people that you have, and you don't need to grow, then you can forget about it. But if you are trying to grow, you must use these other tools. And when you're looking at that, you can look at how are you telling your story. We have a lot of other videos on storytelling and understanding market and who's reading what. And you can think about what that looks like in a digital format. So think about that. For those of you who have been to other classes, this is the STAR model that we talk about. It's the reversal of energy, of not always sending energy outwards, but having it come to us inwards. How do we have those referral models that are consistently and persistently sending us clients? So it's reversing the energy. So really evaluating your sales referrals and the channels that send you money. And for some reason, our camera is just popping off today. So that's going to be an excitement that's going into our video. Um, Planning for growth and stability. You want to be able to do that. If you are not, if you've been in your business a long time, a lot of people didn't know that they were going to be in business for 20 years. And if you had told them that, they wouldn't have believed you. Um, that you'd still be talking about whatever it is that you're doing. Uh, so think about that. You have to still have a comprehensive plan about where you're going, but you want to really have that long-term roadmap. And what does that look like? So this is one you can just take a picture of because we're smoothing through. One of the things that I want you to think about is this realistic goal setting. Um, and the secret sauce, the secret kind of under there I would look at is what's working right now, even if it's not already in blooming. So a lot of times we have these little spindly webs of some things that we have as ideas that we kind of keep as spindly webs for years and years. It's really looking at all of those. So I would put those into your notebook. What's working, even if it's not blooming? You've got to get all of your ideas in one place. And when we're talking about underperformance, it is a very different way of doing business strategy because we have to pay attention to the root, not the fruit. So what that means from a garden perspective is it's the soil, it's the watering, it's the everyday care of the base of the plant. And that's the base of your business. What is the root, not the fruit? So if the root is that what are the things that stabilize that business? And it also means that we stop doing annual tasks, we stop doing quarterly, we start measuring in daily and weekly. And you have to go back and start forming your task lists that only lead to cash flow or lead to the outcome that you are looking to solve. And you're doing those on a daily task. So we take the big and we really microplane it down. And so those are the two secrets to how to get an underperforming business back up and running is, right, the thing I need you to have in your hand is the root, not the fruit. And then it has to go back to daily tasks. So for those of you who haven't been in the 12-week year, this is your jam. This is where you should be. And this is an actual garden. So when you think about the long-term roadmap, you're really thinking about the garden of your life. This is your sweet and loving place, loving dominion. You rule over all of the parts of your garden. You rule over the relationships in your private life. You rule over the education and the bounty of knowledge you put into yourself. It goes into your family, your children, your business. It's all of it. You are the sacred being that is overseeing all of the magic, and that's not going to change. So you want to have this kind of larger roadmap. Sometimes people talk about that as vision, but you need that. So think about the prosperity that you have. We have this um, in the longer format. There's our timer right there. So just pick 3 things that you want to move forward on, and only 3, and really focus them down smaller. But when you are in an underperforming business, you only pick 3. You don't take on the whole thing. You just go, here are the 3 things. Here are the root items. If I focus on these three things, this will bring me traction. That's what the traction model was built on. And this will get you to move forward. So we're focusing in as a garden. We're looking at the actions, right? One plant, many flowers. So if we can get that one plant to grow, that plant should grow many flowers. So focus in on one plant that can perform with many flowers, and that will work it. So one, I'm going to stop my share and tell you thank you so much for being here with me on the fast. These are those Pomoto timers. These are available on Amazon. I'm not selling them, but they work like crazy. So thanks for spending the last 25 minutes with me. I will see you soon, and I hope to see you in class. All right. Have a great day. Bye.